What up? What up? What up? Good evening. And will you get that picture? Your love is my future. If you didn't know the boy is mine. Y'all come on in. We're about to get started in a hot second. The boy is mine. Sorry that you seem to be confused. He belongs to me. The boy is mine. Mm. Hey, good evening. Welcome in. It out loud. We're gonna let this ride out. Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, with the people.
See you. Everybody else sees you too.
You said everyone else sees me too. Who's everyone else?
Let's see what happened. Hold on. What you say?
I said, who is everyone else?
The world, whoever's watching.
Oh, okay. Well, what's up, people? How y'all doing? I see everyone can see and hear you.
We're about to get started. I just
All
want to
right.
get everybody in early. Hey, y'all.
What's up? Who in the studio?
Nice.
We got to talk about this frozen soul food dinner you took out today.
First of all, we'll talk about it. Here we go. Welcome in, Inslee. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the show. It is Vital every Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here on V94.9 WATV. I got to start off by saying that we are celebrating 15 years this year. So you will be seeing so many of our castmates from throughout those years, over a decade and a half. So in studio, in the virtual studio tonight, it's bad to say when when people say like one of my favorites, that is not a good thing to do, but I'm gonna do it. One of my favorites is in studio tonight. What up, Aunt?
What's up, woo? Happy
How are
New
you?
Year. I ain't
Ha-
seen you since
Happy New
gas was
Year.
cheap. Like, when do you
I
stop
know that's
saying Happy
right.
New Year? Like, you kind of stop. Like, I feel like after January is kind of like when you should say, "Nah,
I
say
would
it."
say you stop saying it after you've seen people after January, right? So like if I haven't seen you after January, I'm saying Happy Black History Month.
Right,
The greeting changes.
right. And
So
that's
it's
what I
so
think
good to
it's gonna
see
be. It's
you.
good to be seen and not viewed.
For sure. Oh, we got a lot of that to talk about too. My goodness
Oh
gracious.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be
Um,
a rough week.
yeah. So before we get to any of that, welcome in to everybody that's tuning in. I'm sending my messages out. Like I make it clear that I'm reminding you while I'm on the air that you should be locked and loaded right here with us.
Let me remind some people too.
Yeah,
Then
like
let me
all I do is
remind
go
people.
in and I send reminders. Hey, don't forget what goes on Sunday nights at 7. It's on the radio, it's on Facebook. You can look, you can listen, all of that. So I do that for a minute and then hopefully you all share it to other people. That's what we do here. Hello, Wendy. I see you on. Let me shout my people out. What up, WSSOS Radio in Savannah, Georgia? We love that. Hey, Joan. John Quetta's on. Brian Shelton, hello to you. Who else is watching? There are others. I can't see who you are, but make sure you tell me who you are so that we can shout you out. A big week. There have been so many things that happened, and I decided to um like really focus on using the 1 hour specifically for almost like an open mic for anybody that has thoughts and feelings, which should be everybody, about what we've witnessed with Tyree Nichols over the week.
Right.
That has been a part of everybody's conversation that is not under a rock, that has an opinion on anything, that feels. We've all been discussing that for sure. So I'm going to give you a little backstory about this situation, just in case you haven't heard it, you don't know. Tyree Nichols, aspiring photographer, father of a 4-year-old son, lived with Crohn's disease at 6'3" and 145 pounds. I'll tell you why that is pivotal to this conversation shortly. Maybe you already know. 6'3", 145 pounds, according to his family attorney. On January 7, 2023, Tyree was attacked for a traffic stop that was not routine. It was a traffic stop. 5 police officers basically stopped him. They're part of the Scorpion unit, which is set or was set up to be a crime reduction unit. They were set up to reduce crime in the area. So the Scorpion unit, 5 officers pulled him over about 100 yards from his mother's home. Chief C.J. Davis said that there was no legitimate reason for the stop and that we witnessed what is now referred to as group think. We'll get into that, what groupthink is. And his mother, Rovon Wells, said they beat my son like a pinata. So that is the short of all of this. They stopped him, said that he was performing reckless driving, and it went from there, from mace to a taser to batons to punches to kicks. And like I mentioned, this 6'3", 145-pound young man was attacked by 5 police officers. That's why that's important. All right. Everybody has not seen. They don't want to watch the video. They say that I don't need to watch this video.
Yeah.
It's
I
nothing that I
haven't
need to
watched
see.
it. I have not watched it yet.
Okay. Did you watch the George Floyd video?
Yes, I did. I did.
It's worse.
I mean,
It's
we
worse than
all
the
we
George
all
Floyd video.
it was we ain't had nothing else to do. It was COVID. We was
It was
opposite
during
now.
COVID, right?
We ain't had nothing else to do.
So you mean that the reason that most people aren't watching now is because we have something that we have a
Well,
life going
no,
again that can
no,
distract us?
I don't think so. I think that because, it's so disgusting to watch.
Okay.
It's so disgusting to watch, and we think that we feel like, okay, we feel like we've come leaps and bounds since George Floyd, okay? Even though that was just a short 3 years ago, we would think,
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just feel like it's supposed to be better, now. So for this still to be happening in a more intensified way than what happened with George Floyd, it's sort of like, it's like one of them real big shock moments where you kind of just like, man, I don't even want to put myself through that. I know how
Okay.
angry I got with George Floyd, and I never met him a day in my life. So just thinking about this situation, and honestly, I just been super busy, so you can't do too much, but I knew it would completely throw off my game if I watched it.
For sure. It would it so when I say, I sat there with my parents and watched it. The first, like when it first broke, we sat there and I said, my mom had already seen it. So I asked her, I said, is it worse than George Floyd? Because that's like the worst. It was Rodney King, then it was that. It was Emmett Till, then it was Rodney King, then it was that. Like you had the visions of what has been a bad situation for somebody. She was like, yeah, it's worse, but in a different way. And when I saw it, I completely agree. It's worse, but in a different way. And the idea of there were no other, everybody looked alike in this situation. There was no reason to say, well, it was 2 Asian officers, it was a white officer. No, these were black men attacking a black man. So much so that they killed him.
Damn.
So
Like
now
literally
we're
before I came on air, my mom called me. She was like, "Hey, be careful. I saw the video. It was just so I cried watching the video. If you get stopped, please because she know I got a small mouth. So she was just like,
yeah.
just do what they say. Just do what they say. Do this. Don't make it a big deal." So
I want to put a pin in that statement. Do what they say. I have a smart mouth. We're gonna put a pin in that statement because that may have no relevance in this type of situation. So we're gonna talk about that. 994-8949. This is the number 994-8949. This is the number. It's an hour of power tonight, 1 hour of talk to get you ready for the week to kind of get things off your chest. So you can feel free to call in or comment over in the comments and we'll refer to that. Um, let's look at a few different pieces of this. The Scorpion Unit. We live in Birmingham, Alabama. I've worked with some organizations within the city government and the police department to help minimize and reduce crime. The Violence Reduction Initiative being the main one. And with the Violence Reduction Initiative, there were officers who were selected to be able to like detail serve. I would hate to have ever thought that any of those officers would do that in Birmingham, considering that they were put together to minimize crime. Not I what like there was no reason to do this. And so then I'm thinking about the fact that you have on a body cam. Like that you are visible. You know that people see you. You know that there are cameras on poles. What would possess five of you, five officers, to engage in this and nobody to say, hey man, that's wrong. I'm gonna fall back. If nothing but I'm gonna fall back. I'm not gonna get involved in this. I'm thinking about that part first. I'm gonna stand here and watch you and the rest of your crew and do something that I know is wrong. We have no legitimate reason to do this.
But then if you think about what are the reasons that people do certain things, okay? So for me, of course, because we don't have any context, we just can only wonder, like, okay,
Right.
did he do something to one of their
Right.
kids? Is he sleeping with one of their daughters? Did
Mm,
he threaten? Did he, you know what I'm saying? Is there something more that we do now? It has to be something more because there's no way that y'all stop this kid, this random kid, and his frail, you thought this frail lanky young man would be an imminent danger to you, that you needed to treat him in such a way. And I'm only speaking on the context that I've
yeah.
gotten from this actual video because again, I have not seen it, So to me, it seems like there's a little bit more personal. It's not. This isn't. It has to have something personal to it.
And that's what everybody's saying. Well, not everybody, but there, of course, when something happens, everybody has their side to the spill or their thought on the conspiracy. So I've heard, he probably dealing with one of their wives, or they got a history. And my mind went to maybe there was some type of history of, like because of what I do for a living. I'm thinking like mental health issues. We get
Right.
this call or this person is always here in this location. So we show up again, but this time you got a little unruly. But from all indications, that's not what happened. He was driving, he asked what did he do, and then boom. Um, Randall, thank you for that comment. There is chatter on the internet that he was sleeping with or had slept with one of the officers' wives. What so like that all of these different things considered, was it worth this?
No.
I could have beat you up a little bit by myself and let you live.
But then,
Or
but
what?
I don't know. I mean, it's so many questions that you want to ask, and I don't know. Again, I have not done any research. I haven't looked at any pictures of this
Yeah.
young man. I don't know anything about him particularly, but it's just it opens your mind. Like, was there it's just what could it was he sexuality? Was he a member of the community and they didn't like
Mm-hmm.
that? Was it a hate crime? Was it
Mm.
what was the issue that made these five because it was five black men, if I'm not or
Right.
men of color,
Right.
that attacked him. So I don't know, man. It's sad. It's really, really sad to think that you don't really have to be afraid. The narrative has always been, oh, the white man is doing this, or you know what I'm
Mm.
saying, or this, but to think that okay, five men that look like you that you would probably want to say that you would feel safe. We love to say that we feel
Right. Right. Right.
safer around our people could cause you just the same amount of harm as someone that absolutely hates your race. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not safe anywhere.
And that's the thing. You never know. Like I always think about, I have to go back to where we are. We live in Birmingham, Alabama, where most of us are acquainted in some way. You never know who you're talking to that knows the next person. You never know who sees you that's gonna tell the next person. You never know. And so then to be in a situation where you get pulled over, you're being pulled over by people who grew up with you, people who go to school with you, people who
Right.
go to church with you, people who see you on Facebook. You can be pulled over by them while they do their job, and they could abuse their power and they can kill you. I
I
know
agree.
I know a lot of police officers that may just one day be upset and decide to react that way, and I'm defenseless. Like this dude actually got away and ran, and they chased him down. Yeah, I'm running. Y'all about to kill me. I ain't running because I'm trying to get away. I ain't do nothing wrong, so I'm not running because I'm trying to stay out of. I'm trying not to be killed. So a lot of people say, well, you run from the police, they automatically gonna beat you down. They gonna kill you. Like even the thought of that, what, like what?
I mean, staying there, you can die as well. Clearly, like you staying there and doing everything that they ask you to do, still does not mean that you won't die.
Mm,
So it's a lot of ways we have to look at this. We have to figure, but we also got to figure out, okay, what does this mean on a bigger level? There has to be some kind of national act put in place for diversity and inclusion, or some kind of training, sensitivity training, some
mm-hmm.
kind of something needs to happen on a not on a local level, but on a
On a
national
national
level,
level,
so that we can really, really, really fix this. Because
do we?
this is now, what if George Floyd happened? What city was it in? Does anyone remember?
I remember, but when
But
Milwaukee, I can't think of where it was.
but either way, this happened there. Now, this just happened in, was it Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So this just happened in Tennessee, a lot closer to home for us. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy. I think that we have to figure out.
So on a national level,
Right.
I'm looking at Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's right. So, on a national level, I have to individually control people's responses to their to their job, to what they say, to how they respond, to if they're having a bad day, to like those are personal decisions. You have to decide how you're going to behave in your job on a daily basis. There were already protocols and training in place, I'm quite sure, and like you have to already know when you take this oath of office, or this when you sign this contract, when you do whatever it is that you do to get your job, you already know what comes with it. So at some point it's a personal decision.
Right.
It's a personal decision. So
I
what
agree.
would happen nationally that ain't already happening? You have three write-ups and you off the force and you can't serve anywhere else, maybe?
Mm-mm. Forget that.
No?
We there needs to be some kind of training or counseling or something put in place, because there has to be something, and now we have to say there's some kind of programming in police officers' minds, that or certain ones, because this is a trend, okay? So we're
Yeah.
not pulling anything out of the air. We're only speaking of the facts that we've seen over the last 50 years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So clearly there is something wrong. Is something programmed in some of the people that want to be public servants,
Okay.
and that they take that too far, and they feel as though
Hmm.
they are God in a sense, and they can make these decisions without a chief's call, without military. They tell you when you can shoot. They say, "Okay, we're gonna fight." You know what I'm saying? If for some odd reason, I guess we don't have that same situation here. There
Or
needs to be
when it comes to individuals making decisions about their
right,
job, I would always be thinking like I don't want to be the one to be in a situation where I've made this stupid decision and I should have listened to a higher up, or I wasn't, I don't ever want to be in that position where, I think with your job, you do have the training and skill to know when to respond in a certain
right.
way. If you have to defend yourself, if you have to make us in radio, I have to make split second decisions often. Things happen. We got to know how to run this and do that. As a police officer, I'm dealing with other people. Um, Anything could happen in a split second, but am I going to, like just the level of thinking? What type of
It's
thinking?
like think of moments that you and your girls been out, or you and your friends been out, and one random person maybe was looking at y'all look crazy, and how not scared you were with your group of friends right there.
Right,
Okay,
right, right.
you were like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? It's five of y'all, five. Okay, so it's not only the one person that threw the first punch, or the second person that threw. It's what is it that when, because whatever it was, all of you all were on the same page as to this needed to happen.
group think, right? Like
Right.
either we set out this day to do this, or I need y'all to pull up with me. Like even if I tell my partners to pull up with me, I've already said though somebody just put rules of engagement. I've already said how far this will go, or if this happens, this is what's expected, or so and so might be there. So I need y'all to be on guard. We have those type conversations, but I don't think that I'm ever, even if I were in this position, even if somebody was sleeping with my husband, whatever that is, I'm not going to plan to kill them on my job. Like, I'm just trying to, oh man. Let me go back to some of the comments. Brian Shelton says it won't work. I think he's talking about police reform in that
Yeah.
way, or national police reform. Matters of the heart can't be regulated by policy or laws.
He's right.
Teach and train the way that they should, and you still will have to operate and hope that they keep it. Personal decisions matter. And that's, yeah, totally.
I agree with that.
Totally. Um What's up, Mr. Matthews? I'm having a hard time with this situation. The fact that it was five individuals who actively participated in such an intimate murder. This crime is more insidious because of the manner.
I agree. I agree with
Man,
1000%.
yeah,
Agree with
like
Ms. Matthews. Like just hearing about
appalled.
it, just hearing it, woo, is like, it's like it making the hairs on your arms just listen to someone talk about what happened. You're like, what? Like it's
Yeah,
almost unreal.
yeah, yeah. And you think about how many things don't make it to body cam footage or don't make it to the
Right.
TV that we miss and don't hear about. But like this right here, once again, we were able to witness them. We were also able to witness them trying to come up with a story and trying to make it make sense after he was lying there and medics weren't responding in a timely fashion. Everybody's kind of casually standing around trying to explain something.
Yeah. I
And in
gotta
my
watch
mind,
it now. I have to watch
yeah,
it.
like
I have to
people say
watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it. It's out so you can watch it. That's why it was publicized, because we need to see the inhumane behavior of those gentlemen who made the decision to basically take a life. Now I don't know if somebody's in they bailed out. They had the opportunity to bail out. Now that bothered me. Y'all shouldn't
Yeah,
have an opportunity to do nothing, and you need to be in general population. All
I
that.
agree. I agree.
Why
I
you
think
out?
that I don't know. I don't know. But I guess I mean, is it safe for them being in there with all that with this just happening? Is it safe for them to be
Safe.
there?
It
I mean,
ain't
not
safe for them
not
to
th-
be out here with us.
but this
The hell? Safe?
I mean,
Oh,
if you think about like someone that may you're right, I guess you're right, because they're not out, they are out on house arrest. Are they just are they what is the parameters around them being out that would make me be like, okay, maybe it's okay that they're out until this court date. And I'm trying I mean, don't get me wrong, I think they need to be up under a prison, okay? Up under a prison.
yeah.
But I think they need to be up under like a gun. I hate to say it like that. But I think that they should definitely be facing death penalty because this young man, he had his whole life ahead of him. Like
Mhm.
he could, you know what I'm saying? It's gone. It's gone. Gone.
And it was taken in front of the world. The logic, when I think about using your mental, using history to do whatever the job is that you're doing, whatever the task is in front of you, pretty much you have a blueprint of everything. Everything has already happened before. So yeah, I know that officers have beat people up because of personal stuff before. I know officers have been dirty cops and sold drugs and stole money and all types of stuff. But you gonna do this with your body cam on. You're gonna take four of your other partners with you. You're gonna tell the medics on whoever, like you're gonna mastermind this whole plan
Right.
because of something personal.
It's crazy.
It's a
But like
thought like
it's still so much bigger than that. So Woo, how old was this young man that got killed?
32.
So think about what you were thinking about at 32. Think about where your life was, what you were trying to plan, how you were still building. Were you in school? Had you already got your master's in therapy at that time?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just think about what you were doing, what your plans were for your future. How
Right.
you just had probably really started living at
30, yeah.
32. So like
29,
that's
30, 31, 32.
yeah,
Yep.
somewhere in there. So it's just crazy that he was robbed in such a way. His family was robbed, and I think that someone has the answer to that.
For sure. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, we're answering you. What's your thoughts and feelings about the conversation tonight?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, look.
Okay. Not 9948949 is the number. All right. Calls pertaining to the topic at hand, which is a very serious conversation that a lot of people have been trying to have and wanting to publicly express about. So we're providing that platform to do that tonight. So feel free to call in with those thoughts, comments, and feelings.
And then it's so much more still going on in the world. Lord Jesus, we just got so much, even closer to home, that stuff that's happening. So
Right. More is happening as we speak. Something is always happening. The stories that are so big that they impact everybody are the ones that really sting. Like when you can walk around and see people, you can see it on people's faces when everybody's been impacted by something, right? Like this
right,
has impacted everybody. And so in those type situations, it's like you have to be able to have public conversation. You have
right.
to be able to address the things that are water cooler conversations, that are text thread conversations, like bring them to the airwaves. And that's what we're doing tonight. 9948949 is the number. I see you putting your comments in the comment section as well on the live. We appreciate that as well. It's important that we do this. What's up, Rod J. Anchor? It is important that we have these conversations. I really do want to hear from law enforcement. We're hearing from one as the show proceeds, but in the second half, law enforcement, military, people that have that type of authority. What do you honestly think about this? You can be anonymous tonight, calling in 9948949. You may not be anonymous on the live, but you don't have to identify where you work or anything like that. But just what you think about this.
But talk
Because
to us,
please, when things like this happen, they have us looking at all y'all crazy.
right?
Uh,
And
you know,
it
like
makes you look at everybody crazy. It makes you think, look at people that you know that works in that field. Like, are you like these people? It makes you
right.
look at people that you have been knowing for a long time. What's up, Whitney? How you doing? Well, it just makes you look at everybody kind of just crazy. Whitney, how you feel about this?
Yeah.
Call in. We need to hear your voice.
I mean, looking around and just thinking about the it doesn't have to be any reason. Like it's my
Uh,
tag ain't bad. I got my license on me. I don't have any warrants. I didn't run a light, didn't drive through a stop sign, nothing.
but
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 you have the authority to pull me over and then basically kill me.
right. And imagine if the lady, then you woke up this morning, she did something really crazy, and you just decided that you were like, I feel I'm gonna just get out and kill her. What would happen to you? Wh- What would
Mm.
happen to you if you got out and did that?
So coming up, we'll talk about what would happen. I think that this case has shown us how government should act swiftly, or how law
Right.
enforcement should act swiftly when their own are involved in such heinous acts. These men were charged then. It was no delay in time. They got quick charges, quick justice. But everybody's asking, is it because they were black? When we come back, we're going to jump into that. We're going to talk about why Greek letter organizations are now part of the conversation. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in like a minute, right here on V94.9 WATV.
We in here.
Hey everybody, so we are still on. Y'all call in 9948949. I see somebody that's calling in right now. We'll come straight back to you. But this is one of those things, man, where it is really heavy. It's a lot to discuss.
Heavy, heavy.
And you're a black man. You may feel like people know you in the city, but they may know you to the point where they can pull you over and attack you, and you can't say
And
nothing about it.
that's crazy. Like that's crazy. That is crazy. But then it just
Don't know who
shows
your
you. But
friends are.
but it's just crazy how quickly things can escalate and change. Like literally, when he woke up that morning, he had no idea he was gonna die that night. You know what I'm saying? I think about a situation that just happened with me recently where I was almost in an altercation and I was just like, how quickly this happened. But we'll talk about that off air another
Go
time.
back. Let's go back. We're back in right here on V94.9 WATV, the Abby Award winning Vital Show. Lady Wu is here in the studio with Ant. Welcome back, Ant.
What's going on? Talk to us.
Celebrating 15 years this year. A lot of celebration. You'll be hearing from a lot of different voices. Maybe even some clips from old shows. We've had some of our partners and panelists to go on before us. So we may be saluting them. Vital Awards. We have really, really been around. We've done a lot. A whole lot of topics, some taboo topics, we've done a lot.
Vital After Dark. We have done
Yes, we
all
have
kind of
done
stuff.
a lot. So thank y'all for rocking with us for these 14.5 years. If it's more than a half now, this will be April. First Sunday in April will be 15 years. We're working on something big for that. Tonight's topic though is heavy. Tonight's topic is heavy. It's been heavy on all of our hearts because of not just period, but then because of the severity of it. It was a severe, heart-wrenching watch, feel, all of that. Like it was very difficult for people to stomach, especially the initial viewing of it. When you can sit down and really just wrap your mind around the fact that people um devalue each other in such a way. I ain't
I
never
know.
wanted to, I'll defend myself, but I've never just wanted to kick somebody and beat some. I ain't never really just wanted. I've wanted to,
Uh,
like my I would say like I will do this to you, but to the point where I take 5 of my partners with me. We attack you until you're helpless, and I see your face. We have thought about it. We've said we would do these things, but
well, I think you should just speak for yourself.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying
I mean,
the
every
heinousness
now and
of
then, now
it.
some people be actually having it coming. Now they don't need to die.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what
But
I said. I
you gotta,
defend myself.
a few little hits, a little slap or two, rough your shirt up,
Look, man,
leave
I've
you
been
to
in some
take your shoes and
situations.
make you walk back. Something like that
Right,
ain't too
right,
bad. You know what I'm saying?
right. But to take you from your family, to take you from the world because of some type of engagement that you've had,
I
maybe.
cannot think of a reason that it will be okay for me to do that to someone. I'm trying to think of, and I mean, don't get me wrong. You think, okay, what's the most hurtful thing someone probably could do to me would be hurt my mom or hurt my sister. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hurt my family. Of course, your initial thought is you took my mom's life I would like for her. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna say because I've never been there. My brain has never snapped like that. I don't know what that's like, but I would think that probably would be the only reason where I would just see blood and want to do something like that. So I'm
Okay,
hoping that there's some kind of story that comes out saying
that's
that
that. That's
he
that
did
severe.
he killed this man, so I can start saying, oh, he killed his mom. So now that's why I
So that's
needed
the only
to
way
be.
you can make any sense of
That's
this.
the only way I can make any sense of it, and at least try and relate in some way. And don't I know some people are probably gonna be like, "And that's horrible that you're trying to justify him killing this man." I'm not trying to justify, but I'm trying to at least put myself in his shoes and say, if this was me, maybe I would have lost it. If
Okay.
my boys was there to support me, knowing
Mhm.
I'm trying to develop a narrative here and give the people a benefit of the doubt because it's just not
Yeah.
working right now.
Who's that?
Well, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, turn your radio down, listen through your phone, and go ahead with your
Uh-huh.
comment, your thoughts and feelings. Hello, hello.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing fine. I've been
Good.
listening to the conversation, and I really believe from what they did to this guy that they pretty much looked at themselves as a gang. And whenever you put yourself in that that state as being a gang, they were set out to harm this guy. They got each other back, regardless. If he got any weapon or not, they was looking to harm this guy, and that's what they did as a gang. That's what they did.
Okay. Okay.
And normally that's what happens. When you link up with a group of people to harm somebody, and they were set out to harm this guy, and that's what they did.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, due to whatever he said or did to whoever, wife or girlfriend, they put in their head, okay, we got our partner back,
Right.
and we gonna handle this. But they took it a little bit too far.
They took it way too far. Thank you for that call. Thank you for that comment. So, like operating like a gang, right? Like this is the Scorpion unit. These my bros, whatever, whatever. So that's when you get into the part of the conversation where I said that their organizational ties came into play. So I think 3 of the 5 were members of a Greek letter organization that we know is Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And a lot of people were, why is that coming into the conversation? Well, it plays into the conversation because of the brotherhood, because I think somebody had some type of paraphernalia present during this crime. And then the fact that one of the young men was the president of a chapter, to Darius being one of the officers, was the president of a chapter, and he's linked to hazing history. So like he has this type of aggression anyway, according to reports. And it's not far fetched for him to have been involved in such a crime. So just to kind of address that, the part that organizational ties have in your behavior. When I go out, I represent my family. I represent where I work. I represent so many different people, so many different things. So if I did something, all of that would come up.
That's right.
Don't refer to our organization with this. He was a part of your organization. Yeah, we talking about it. We're talking about it. So if you don't want that part to come up, hey, speak out. So somebody did speak out. And, let me find the statement that was issued by Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated to share with you. I'm not Greek, so I don't really care about a lot of stuff like that. Like I come to your party, whatever, but it's not a big deal to me. But it was a big deal that this be spoken out on. And this is what was said. What we all saw on the news a couple of nights ago about the conduct of law enforcement officers leading to the untimely and tragic death of Mr. Tyree Nichols is unacceptable. Tyree should have made it home safely and unharmed with an opportunity to skateboard again. We expect law enforcement officers to protect life and serve our communities with the highest regard for safety and humanity. Unfortunately, what we witnessed of the violent behavior of the accused, now former officers, is the complete opposite. As we all travel this road of grief and mourn with Tyree's family, let there be no doubt of our resolve concerning holding all public service officials accountable for their actions, and in particular, holding these accused former officers accountable for their actions. We condemn their actions in the strongest possible way and call on our elected officials to immediately institute measures to put an end to the senseless killing of citizens in our communities by law enforcement officials. We extend our heartfelt and earnest sympathies to the family and friends of Mr. Nichols and pray for the entire Memphis community. May God give us all strength and comfort during these difficult times. Ricky L. Lewis, 42nd Grand Basilis, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Now, he did not say anything particularly about Omega Psi Phi. He just kind of spoke to what happened. He didn't say anything about the affiliation.
I mean, I don't think he necessarily had to. I don't
They
think he
they've been
should.
talking about your organization. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, but I don't know. I guess I don't know in what the PR handling for that should be. With your organization coming into play, like how I don't know how what the protocol or what the correct way to address that would be. So I don't know.
If you're a part of, call back with that, call in with that. I'm just wondering because it's out, that's big, that's a big piece of the conversation. Like if it were another organization, if they were part of some other situation, what would the conversation be? Anthony Williams said those dudes had the mob mentality. Greek or not, they were savages who lived by their own code of ethics. That's a strong one right there. So that I get that
I mean, and
statement.
I agree with him. Like, I mean, again, you have to understand they collectively committed a crime
Yeah.
that people can get life in prison for. That
Yeah,
people
as they should.
that can change. That's 5 families that's going to be changed from this. I'm sure they all have kids, or some of them have kids, or wives,
Yeah.
moms. They're also someone's sons
Hmm.
that has committed this crime, and so now this is gonna be a real big impactful situation. But I really hope that these thugs in uniforms, I hope that they really get a really good sentencing that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. 9948949 is the
But
number.
this needs to be the example.
So, okay, this being the example, these were 5 black officers that committed this crime. and they were swiftly brought to justice. Normally we have to beg and cry and plead that, it's taking too long. Y'all saw the man knee on his neck, and you saw the other officer standing around, and it would take forever. But in this situation where it was black officers, oh, it was swift judgment. So like we're fighting a lot of different things with this situation. And I'm trying to see, how do we unpack it? What's bigger for you? Like, is it bigger that, you know, um, all of these are young black men and we got to do something about young black men? Or is it that we got to do something about law enforcement and the way they abuse power? Or is it that we got to do something about black on black crime? Like where do you start with such a
It's
situation?
and we just it's so many layers to be dissected, but I think that ultimately we have to learn how to people have to learn how to deal with people. Like
Mm,
if you're in this field, there has to be some kind of specific training on how you deal and engage with people. But I understand that when you're out in the field, anything happening, things are
right.
completely different. So, it's hard to train you on everything, but there has to be some protocols, especially when there's five people. Five officers.
Group
Why
group
were y'all
think.
why were y'all all together anyway? Were y'all all working the same beat? Y'all clearly had the plan to get together. Why were
Okay.
all of you all together in the first place?
Because we're the Scorpion unit and we're put together to fight crime, a specialized unit on crime. And
Was this
I
a
will
high
say
was this a high crime area neighborhood?
it's
Do we know?
Memphis. It's like kind
Oh
of like
well, you're right.
Birmingham,
It's
right?
Memphis. Memphis
It's
kind of
like
you're right.
it's like all over, right?
You're
But
right.
the
Memphis
idea
kind of
of it
hard.
though, Aunt, like if I'm in a unit where I'm selected to be one of the officers that is like I'm on this unit because clearly either I know, right? Like I know and they know me. So they know when I pull up, it's going down like this type thing. You know what I mean? Like I'll take all of that into consideration. I take all of that into consideration that maybe, just maybe, this is what I'm known for. But this time, me and my folk took it too far. Think, group think is what the chief referred to it as. Group think made us all think the wrong thing. Let's go to the phone lines right quick. Caller, you're in with Vital. What's your question, comment, thoughts, or feelings?
Hey, Lady Wu and Aunt. So good to hear you all tonight.
Hello.
It's so good to hear you all
How
tonight.
you doing,
It's
Mama
always
Audrey?
delightful. Oh, I'm doing just excellent. Outside of what we're dealing with now concerning Tyree,
Yeah.
it is just so hard. It's so heartbreaking about him, and just there aren't even words to express what we witnessed. About those five, they have to be dealt with, and they have to be dealt with severely.
Mm-hmm.
There is no right in anything that they did. As far as the fraternity that they're a part of, the Greek organization that they're a part of, we know those are excellent men, and we know that they stand for excellence. We always have individuals in organizations that will go rogue and do what they want to do,
Right.
and that's the case of these men. So certainly their fraternity will deal with them as they should be dealt with.
Okay.
We're praying for Tyree's family, all his loved ones, friends, and us, the Black community. We're praying for all of our sons who are out there in this world.
Thank you so much for that. So that is great perspective to the idea that we know that they are rogue people in any type of organization, no matter what the group is. Even in your friend circle, is one friend that's gonna do some stuff that don't make no sense, but we're not gonna group think and just jump in on that bandwagon with them and continue to allow the crime or the whatever the mentality to be perpetuated. You can't be my friend. I can't roll with you. I'm gonna report you. Well, I'm gonna shoot at you if you gonna beat him with the baton. And oh man, like accountability. Let's go
Right.
back to the phone lines. Caller, you're in with Vital. What's your thoughts, question, feelings? What you got? Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What's your comment?
Well, I just want to answer that answer that question. You said, how should we
look at this. How should we deal with this?
Yeah, like how should we unpack all of these different elements of this situation?
Well, we have to treat this as an isolated case.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because we don't have 5 black police officers doing harm to a young man.
Okay.
So since we don't have history of that, we have to treat this as an isolated case. Because if we don't treat it as an isolated case, there's gonna be bandwagons. There's gonna be pushing people. There's gonna bandwagon on the fact that black men. They're gonna take the issue of black men, police officers doing harm to young black men.
Right.
When we know that we have a definite problem with white police officers, police in black communities.
Okay.
So we have to deal with this isolated. Okay, what is the personal issues? Because if you steal, you'll kill. So what I'm saying is, these police officers have done other dirt, they just never been caught. So we got to deal with them as individuals, and if you said the one guy had a problem or have a history of hazing too hard, well then if he have a history of hazing too hard, he have a valid history. So he could have other things that he have done and have gotten away with.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that comment. So an isolated incident in the community. When we have isolated incidents in our community, and you mentioned something earlier about inclusion and diversity, that we hear that all the time, like inclusion and diversity. What does that truly mean in the grand scheme of things? Like if it would have been a white officer in the Scorpion unit, he would have been like, "No, guys, don't do this." We don't.
I think that what diversity and inclusion like training is like created for is to help people kind of understand people from different backgrounds and different walks of life of them, and kind of maybe how they respond a little different. You know what I'm saying? Try and have a more universal approach to certain things, but also understanding your universal approach does not necessarily work all the time, especially your personal universal approach based on the experiences that you have aren't necessarily don't necessarily represent the worldly world that we live in, if that makes
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
at all. I think that this is just a really 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 crazy situation that's happening here, and I think this is it makes your mind wonder about so many other scenarios because I really want to talk to some police officers. I want to talk to some public servants that or feel like they have a brotherhood with other guys on the on the force, and that maybe they would jump if they saw something. But like, you see him attacking you, and do they know? Were they all necessarily? Did whoever the person that led it, did he make them think that there was some kind of imminent threat? And they kind of
Uh-huh.
all were they like? I just cannot see 5 people just completely like this is right. Let's do this.
Even like from the first part of the stop, and there's over, I think they said about at least 40 to 45 minutes of footage about this whole situation. 40 to 45 minutes, that's a long time, right? So he was there. They got him the first time, and then he broke away. Then they got him again, and then in that second time, that is when like he's like like his mama said, they beat my son like a pinata.
Mm.
Um, I get that angry with you that now I finish him. I finish the job. Like what point are you trying to prove?
I
Like if it,
honestly, I don't think that honestly, I don't think we're gonna really be able to really dissect and figure out what their cause was until we get more information. Like there is so many different scenarios and ways that it could go. Like
yeah.
literally, we have been here talking, and we've thought about 8 different ways that this could truly go. Like we literally over here on murder mystery.
For real. Like we always are with everything until it really comes out. And even when it really comes out, like I said that or that's not what you know how that
Yeah,
goes.
we know.
But the
I'm
whole
probably gonna it's
conspiracy,
probably whatever I said is gonna be it though, and I'm gonna let y'all know. Even if you said it, it's probably gonna be what I said. So it's just gonna be
please, yeah, and please let us know. But the one conspiracy though, like the one that everybody's kind of leaning toward is that one of the officers, I hadn't heard which one yet, but that apparently Mr. Nichols had some type of relationship with a partner of his, of one of the officers. It's no way, Aunt, that you can call me and tell me that I got to pull up with you to do something to that degree over another human just because they
Mm-mm.
decided to be with somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
sir, you
Mm-mm.
need
You
to do
can't.
something different. Yeah,
Yeah.
do something
I
different.
need to figure out my life.
Cause what are we doing here?
Because I
I'm
don't need
about
to be in a relationship. I need to be going to vital family counseling.
Oh, okay. That's what I was about to say. Some other interventions need to happen because to even think that deeply into it, like
But
what?
but think about the craziest thing you've done when you were in love
Oh, I thought
and
about it
hurt.
already. Yeah,
Woof. And like you think about something, and I'm not justifying anything. I know, some of us have done some things that didn't make sense or that we kind of look back at
absolutely.
like that we should not have done that. Now, hopefully none of us killed anyone. But
So crimes of passion are that's one thing, but this type of situation where like Jackie said, this is a gang fight. This is somebody being jumped. uh like I said, innocently. I don't care how many times you called me and told me to leave your person alone. Your person kept coming back, and now I got to die about it. And your four other partners are involved. This is just a theory, people. This is not fact, but this is something that's being said. And like we said, we're not justifying it, but group think is what's standing out to me. Nobody decided to be an individual with any couth or any love or compassion, no empathy. Nobody said, "Hey, man, y'all need to chill out. That's enough, or that's too much, or I'm calling for backup." Nobody. So that for me right now, that's what stands out more because now we have other officers and other people in the world who have witnessed this and will likely stand around and allow some ridiculous behavior from their circle.
I
But we see
agree.
what that gets you now, especially if you're black. Swift justice is what that gets you. Um, before we get out of here, 4 more minutes. Today, over the weekend, I have gotten some news about people that I've shared space with that are no longer here to share space with. And I'm not even 40 years old yet. And I think about like how every other weekend or so, one of my peers is dying and they're not dying from, you know, things like car accidents. So you know how you'll say if something happens to somebody, that's one thing. But when somebody dies from a condition, that's like, um, a condition, it's like, dang, because we're typically healthy most of the time before like 40 years old, typically. But it is amazing that every couple of days I'm writing rest in peace and I'm reflecting on people that I've shared time and space with. So tonight, or earlier today, Ricky went live and was talking about the sudden loss of Brandon Smiley. I used to babysit Brandon and Kayla. Like that was one of my first continuous babysitting gigs. I was house sitting for Ricky and kept them. And to now be dealing with the fact that Brandon has exited this life and you know, leaves us here to mourn his it's mind blowing. Yesterday, got a couple calls about a dear friend, Tyron Tarver. A lot of people know him as Cheerio. Cheerio died. I'm like, this is. Then a couple of weeks ago, I was at a service. A couple of weeks before that, I was at a service, and I made a post about how, for a long time, it seemed like my parents went to a funeral every weekend. So I start now. It's me going every weekend, and they go to 2 or 3 a week. And I'm like, wow, man, just looking at that and thinking about how many people are in these spaces of mourning and loss, and just really sending out a lot of love and a lot of prayers to all of us, everybody who's impacted by this. Every time you hear this news over and over again, wow, God has plucked another angel, another flower from his garden. So special prayers to all of you, all of us in the community who deal with these losses, who've been dealing with these losses. It's really mind blowing. To be doing this for people that are not elderly. Now
Yeah.
it's us. Now it's
Yeah,
us.
this morning when the news broke about Brandon, it was just everywhere. It was just everywhere, and it just was, anywhere, and the way some people, people started trying to criticize how Ricky Smiley let people knew. They were like, why did he have to go? And I was like, wow, y'all really want to pick at this. This is what y'all find to be important is
Bothered by right.
bothered by is how he chose to let us know that his son is gone. Not his son is
Look, and he
gone.
didn't have to let anybody know
He
anything. Y'all could have waited to find out on TMZ.
right,
But he feels personally connected, so he went
right.
live. That's
But
how
yeah,
I looked at it.
I do think that everyone should definitely be trying to, just wrap their arms around Ricky. Ricky is a pillar for our city, and just he's one of them people that kind of has really worked hard to keep Birmingham relevant
Yeah,
in
for sure.
in various ways. And I think that we just, should give him show a little love to him, give him some grace and some time with his family figures
Yeah,
this out.
that's for Ricky, but on behalf of the life that was actually that we're actually talking about, Brandon was making a name for himself
I
as a
agree.
comedian and doing his own thing. So I don't want um a lot of people may not have known Brandon, but that's who we've lost. So
Mm.
share, as Ricky's posting pictures, as others of us will post pictures. I'm going home tonight to find pictures because I have them of when Brandon was little and then even more recently. But honoring people's lives, like honor them. Don't get all into, well, I want to know what happened. I gotta ask somebody what
Yeah,
they
that's not
ain't.
important.
They're
That's
no
not
longer
important.
here.
Who
They're
cares?
gone. They're gone on to a phase that you know nothing that you ain't experiencing yet,
Right.
and their family is left here to grieve them. So that's
And,
what you need to be
or
doing.
pull the pieces together out of this something they weren't again. This stuff be happening random, y'all. This
Out
this
of
this don't
nowhere.
be right. This is not. This is crazy.
And look, I'm gonna say this before we go. When people do find out about death on social media, I've sat on the side of my bed a couple times, like probably the past three services that I've been to, because like these are people that I was once, you'll be once connected with them really close, and then seasons change, and now they're somewhere else or doing something different, and you're not as connected as you were. But you'll get on social media and scroll, and you'll see somebody in a state that you hadn't seen them in, and how heartbreaking that is. They're like, wow, this is where I find out. This is how I find out. Wow, like, ugh. So I can say that I deal with death differently. But I truly want everybody to start honoring the lives of those that they lose. Honor them. Honor them. Um, you know, they they leave a legacy just by the fact that you got memories of them. Like, honor them. Don't pick apart what and why and when and how. Honor them. In short, honor them, and then cherish every day. I say that anytime anybody leaves, cherish every day that you have with somebody, every opportunity that you have to share with them. Cherish them. Share that. Share those kind words. So that's what I'll leave you with tonight. And any closing remarks from you?
Yeah, just keep living it and passing into your surroundings.
Yeah.
And holler at me when your refund come in.
That part too. Look, that part for sure. I'm trying to stack up W-2s and W-9s right now. So
Listen,
next
oof,
Sunday, we'll be back. I think next Sunday is going to be February. So we got a lot of stuff to do in February,
man,
a lot of
January came
vitality
and went.
real
When I
quick.
tell y'all this year, it came in so quick. It was just New Year's yesterday.
For real, time is flying. So that goes back to what we said. Cherish every moment. Use every second that you have that you can. Cherish every moment and be vital.
Well,
Y'all, we'll
I
talk to you.
cherished my moment with you tonight. Well, it was good to be back in here
For
with you.
real. For real. We got more of this to do. Tomorrow at noon, I'll be in for the free lunch flashback at 12. The next hour is full of music. So enjoy that while you're iron your clothes for work tomorrow. Don't go wrinkly. And then pack your lunch too so you won't be late. Y'all have a good night. Be vital.